How's it going, folks? Back again with some more narration for CALLOUS Invitational 6. It's Jim Cool, and I'm here with an exciting set. We've got Hclat versus Jester. Hclat has been here before in CALLOUS Invitational. He's a bit more of a veteran, and legend has it that he will be retiring after this tournament, so he's probably eager to go out with a bang rather than a whimper. Show us that he's still got it, and here he is in the upper bracket, of course. Hasn't lost yet. Maintaining his status as an elite level gamer. Always with unorthodox builds, fun stuff. Famously brought things like Pikachu, Jumpluff to tournament games. Not afraid to be a bit out there with building. Jester, on the other hand, first time CALLOUS Invitational 6 participant. And I believe a 16-year-old child. He's here to prove himself. Bit of a meteoric rise to the top level of play for Jester, being invited straight into the main event. People like Jim Cool were only invited to play-ins. Jester, on the other hand, I can attest that he is a talented player. We've played friendlies before. I've seen him on the ladder. I think he's more of a by-the-book type guy, but, you know, at the top level, you've got to be a bit creative too, so we'll see what he decides to bring against a formidable opponent, Hclat, and let's get into it. We've got a Gengar lead is actually a bit unorthodox. Tyranitar with a Fire Blast, turn 1. That was a dangerous Wisp. Could have been Lumberry, could have been Pursuit-tar, but just goes straight for the Wisp. And luckily, Hclat does not have Crunch or Lumberry plus Rock Slide or anything to really threaten this Gengar immediately. And that's a Toxic on this tar. Interesting tar set. Wonder what's going on with that. It's lefties, Fire Blast, Toxic, no Crunch. Hclat goes Blissey. Hclat has famously been anti-Blissey, but here he is using Blissey himself. I mean, even if you don't like it, you got to use it sometimes. Jester's Google history has switched in. Jester curious about information on oysters. Doug entering the picture, aiming to eliminate this Tyranitar, successfully tanks a Fire Blast and is gonna succeed at what it wanted to do there. But that allows Cloyster in with a great opportunity to create a spike, and that's going to be a bit of... I mean, that's a pretty even trade, I'd say. You trade the tar for a bit of Doug health plus a spike. Cloyster actually staying in the face of Gengar very bravely and ice beaming it. Will he stay again? He's a madman. He did it again. Gengar not thunderbolting. Consider me flabbergasted a little bit here. Claydol in. Yeah, aside from the Gengar lead, this team from Jester looking a bit more standard now that we're seeing the bigger picture. Gengar lead could be to help him versus certain lead matchups he otherwise would be bad against. Salaman's coming in on the Claydol EQ. And we see Zapdos last. Hclat, a fellow Cloyster believer. Cloyster has successfully made one spike, and that sometimes is enough for offense to, you know, apply the pressure it needs to apply. We see a soft-boiled from Blissey. Didn't end up sniping the incoming Gengar. I mean, it's a hard thing to particularly call out. But calls out the boom successfully. Well done by Hclat there. Thwarting that threat a little bit. Claydol able to potentially spin here. Gonna opt for some chip heal on his Metagross though. Don't know how valuable that is looking at the team from Jester. I mean, there's a Doug. The Claydol probably outspeeds and threatens Metagross. But you never know. Getting Metagross back in. Hclat is insisting on maintaining this Metagross in the game. Gonna mash that time. Jester expecting another Protect, trying to get Suicune in on a safe turn, but nice mix-up by Hclat. Now, chip-healing this Metagross all the way back up to 51%. Beautiful. Calm-minded up on the Protect though. Nice by Jester. Looks like... I feel like he would have rested there if he had it, or maybe he is just wary of Explosion. Who knows? Zap in. I think that this Blissey is a pretty great wall right now. But I mean, Zapdos could pose a threat long term with pressure. We'll see who wins this end game. It's interesting, actually. I'm not sure. Although Cloyster builds are usually more aggressive in style, this team from Hclat does have a pretty nice defensive backbone, especially with the Wish on Blissey. That's going to help out a lot with longevity here. Might even be able to heal up this Metagross. Gonna switch out here. It's Calm Mind. And that's good enough to take out Metagross. And Calm Mind, Fire Punch, Protect. Must be Wish last. Wish, we've seen a lot of mono Fire Punch Jirachi. It's a good way to go, actually. Because you can get so many great utility options on Jirachi, like Wish, Protect, Sub, that kind of thing. We've seen that. I believe UD was using that. So... And this Jirachi is going to completely win versus this Bliss 1v1. Never mind, it's actually Protect Psychic. I would assume Wish based on the set, but... You know? That's actually a really interesting set. I kind of like it. It's able to chip heal with Protect. And it does 1v1 that particular Blissey. Is Aero going to be able to kill him, though? Mence coming in on a switch out to Doug, which was a sack by Jester. Nice play by Hclat. And dodges the Rock Slide. That's what he needs. I don't think that's enough, though. I think... Yeah, this is probably a bulky-ish zap, at least. At least a bit of health, I imagine. I mean... Dunno, actually. Jester with a pretty standard looking team that is in fact actually a little bit unorthodox, but in a way that... I didn't even process mean look, by the way, forgive me. When did that happen? I'm not on top of all this metagame innovation. This is too much for Jim. I can't handle this. Hclat obviously losing this. That's quite a game one. That was kind of a beautiful game. This team is kind of genius. I sort of am maybe too bad to even understand it. This is a level beyond Jim. The mean look lead Gengar. Makes sense, I guess, that he didn't T-Bolt Cloyster before. Didn't have it, probably. Interesting bring versus Hclat, someone who famously is anti-Blissey. You bring the main look Gengar. I wonder if that was aiming to trap something else, actually. But nevertheless, let's get into game 2. We have a Weezing lead from Hclat and a Tar lead from Jester. Weezing going to shoot off a Will-O-Wisp. Jester probably wary of something like HP Fighting. Weezing notably does not have leftovers, and that's why it's got Thief. Taking lefties from Claydol could be enormous if we've got a Spiker on the team, and Hclat does have a Spiker. I would say that is pretty damn... That's a pretty big advantage. The Claydol can't chip heal anymore. That's one of its greatest attributes. And I don't know if this Weezing has Taunt, but just Will-O-Wisp is quite threatening here. I mean, Milo can obviously soak it and refresh, though. Weezing could have a lot of potential moves. You got to expect something like maybe Explosion or Taunt. Something disruptive. Skarm gonna shrug off the Surfs from Milo and just create spikes, knowing that Claydol has limited opportunities to come in and rapid spin. Hclat might even be running a Ghost type to spin block, which, you know, considering how he sacrificed a lot of Skarm health there for these spikes, so I would imagine he probably has a Ghost type, or at least is confident in his ability to pressure Claydol. That's the most unfortunate raw outcome. But look at that. A Toxic is actually going to continue the pressure on this Claydol. Claydol better have Refresh or Aroma support. Scarm chip healing up as it does. It's already back up to 82% after taking all that damage from the Surfs. I guess Hclat looked at the matchups and figured Scarm can not only Toxic the Claydol, but just spike in its face and chip heal in the process, which is very nice. Gonna get taunted by Tyranitar and unable to Wisp as a result. Very interesting. Taunts Tar, not something you see every day. It's pretty nice though. It denies spikes from Scarm, denies healing and status from something like Bliss. I think it's a good option. Something I should use up more often for sure. Hclat with his own Claydol. Jester with his own Scarm. We've got a Scarm Dole Mirror. But Hclat is definitely ahead in the long-term Spikes war here, with the Claydol on Jester's side having no lefties, being toxic. Hclat's own Claydol's toxic as well, but you know, this looks like a lot like one of my teams with the Wheezing. My team was running Taunt Wheezing though, not Thief Wheezing, but yeah, Hclat doesn't mind getting all the spikes spun away because of the amount of chip he's dealing with the Toxic on Claydol as it's doing that. Plus no lefties. I mean, Hclat is happy to force that scenario from Claydol, slowly but surely chip it down. Yep, Scarm not going to be able to taunt or spike in the face of this Tar, and that is an enormous crit, and Hclat actually goes for a struggle. This is interesting. Actually, Hclat is really threatened by this Tar by the looks of it. Not switching to a Rock Resist or anything. It looks like he's a bit reliant on Doug to handle Tar. But Claydol's not bad into the Tar. Tar probably with Taunt lacks a way to hit Claydol very well. Can't really fit HP Bug when you're running Taunt. Jester's Claydol opts to just boom. Maybe the best way to go. Only having to deal with one spike. Taking out the incoming Skarmory. I think that was a pretty nice way to cut your losses. I like the decision. Good call out that he would go back Skarm as well. I mean, it's the most logical thing for Hclat to do. Got a bit more gaming since then occurring. Hclat with a CM Rachi, that could be a win condition. Knowingly sludge bombing in the face of the taunt, hoping for perhaps a poison chance there. And Weezing gonna be able to Will-O-Wisp again. So it's intriguing, because Skarm is now threatened by this burn over time. But Claydol's poisoned. Hclat not able to make any more spikes, while Jester is. But Hclat does have a rapid spinner, but it's on a clock. A Doug switch. Is he going to successfully trap Jirachi? Jirachi can Wish Protect back up. Doesn't have it. I was going to say I could Wish Protect back up and find a Slam Paralyze, but that's not how it worked out. Weezing going to be healed back. That could be good or bad. Another Blissey. This is proof that everything that the top players say is propaganda. Hclat has been non-stop saying Bliss sucks. Here he is bringing Blissey twice in a row. It's all a big gambit by them. It's a joke to them. I like Hclat's team, but I do enjoy a Taunt Weezing personally. Thief is cool. It did do a lot of work versus the enemy Claydol. I think Jester looks better in this game. Now, after eliminating that Jirachi. Jester can handle this singular spike, and it's a bit of just defensive switches happening now. Bit of rinse repeat. CM Bliss actually could be what Hclat needs, but gonna be frightened of Doug, I imagine. Goes for a Thunder. Whoa. Thunder CM Bliss. Not something I've really seen. Goes Doug. Did he Ice Beam this time? No. Aggressive switch to Doug by Jester. And that is a really worthwhile Earthquake. Blissey gonna be taking probably dead after the spike and all this toxic and sand damage. I don't think that Blissey is gonna be able to exist anymore. And Hclat's out of steam. I don't think he can win this. This is just gonna be a... There's no way Hclat wins this, I don't think. Unless the Doug can clean up somehow? Nah, but the... Nah, this is over, folks. Goes Claydol. Can he possibly get rid of the Melodic? No way. The Melodic is too much of a threat. Let's skip ahead, in fact. Gonna just be clicking Thief. The Bliss died, though. Blows up on the Melodic, actually. And now Skarm's dead. I think Hclat maybe could have just clicked Earthquake there. Because he can live a Drill Peck. Whoa. What's going on? This is actually nuts. Found the boom on the Melodic. Here's Doug. I think he wins. That is the craziest win I've seen in a while. He looked super... All he had was a Doug, a Wheezing, and a Claydol against, like... Against the world. That was nuts. I didn't even think he could possibly win that. Forgive me for calling that early, skipping ahead a bit, but... That looked over. I was just wanted to see what happened. I mean, gee whiz. I guess we got a game 3 on our hands. Hclat. Maneuvering that ever so that Doug could defeat the Tyranitar in the end. And Skarm was way too chipped by Wheezing simply clicking Thief against it. I mean, have you ever seen anything like it? I sure haven't. We've got a Venusaur. Hclat just punched it. This is like, I can't even process this. I'm sort of... I would never in my life have clicked punch there, but that's just the kind of player Hclat is. He's crazy. I would have maybe sacked Sleep somewhere else. I guess Yama isn't a bad place to Sleep sack. Venusaur notably didn't click Sleep Powder, clicked Leech. Maybe predicting a switch out to Sleep sack. Skarm happy to take a Fire Blast to establish some spikes. That's a common gambit. You can safely chip heal up against a lot of stuff, so often worth establishing that single spike. Looks like it's going to apply a lot of pressure here. Melodic probably happy to chip down this Skarm and Jester decides not to allow chip on his Skarm. Hclat is definitely representing a spinner in the back, so Jester maybe thought wasn't worthwhile. Melodic stays in the face of that Starmie, not afraid of a T-Bolt. Did he just assume a bulky Starmie without coverage? And Venusaur sleeps the Scarm. Maybe Hclat figured my Scarm is kind of low. It's a bit hard in this matchup looking at Jester's team to really establish spikes and win that war. So we figured maybe just tank the sleep on Scarm and try to win a different way. Melodic, a safe switch into Tar. Looking good. Jester with a Yama himself. We've got a Yama Spikes Mirror. Now I'm questioning whether Hclat does have a spinner in the back. I'm not too sure. Gets his Yama knocked, of course. And then Jester gets his Yama knocked. That's probably HP Bug. Could be HP Ghost also. Claydol EQing in the face of Yama. This is quite a back and forth. Jester in the chat says this is tough. This is a bit of a strange game. Taking the free turn there to establish another layer of spikes. Wonder if Jester will predict an incoming Claydol or simply, yep, establish another spike at the cost of some health. But a Melodic just click and surf is pretty threatening. I mean, obviously could go Venusaur. Gets the kill on Yama. That's pretty nice. Yeah, opting to go Moltres rather than go Claydol. Maybe thinking the idea of spinning is a bit too much of a momentum sink. Would rather apply a bit of pressure with Moltres. Does burn a Tar. That's progress, of course. And Milo returning to the fray. A T-Wave Tar. Not something you see very often, but actually makes more sense on a Pursuit Tar than a Physical Tar. Physical Tar with T-Wave doesn't really work because the most common Tar switch-ins are ground types like Swampert and Flygon, but yeah, a Pursuit Tar could definitely run T-Wave. You don't deal with that issue as much. Gets Swampert in on a Thunderbolt. This could be enormous depending on this Swampert. Just goes for an EQ. This Melodic. After spikes and that EQ and Sand, very low now. Forced to recover. Jester takes his free little tempo turn to get Starmie in. And we do see T-Bolt this time. I was going to say I wouldn't put it past Hclat to run like Mirror Coat Melodic or something, but we have the full revealed set. Doesn't have that. Shrugging off these T-Bolts pretty nicely though. Forced to heal, obviously. Jester generating so much out of these 3 spikes. Getting free turns constantly. Does manage to get Venusaur in on this Melodic. Will we see a Giga Drain? No, it was a Leech Seed, which... that was a dangerous click. You could have lost your Venusaur, but at the same time... oh, wow. That was gaming. That was double gaming. Hclat thought he would go Swampert. Jester thought he would switch out again to something else and get rid of this Leech Seed. HP Grasses again. Jeez, this is such a back and forth. Didn't pursuit him. Doubles to Yama. This is crazy. And Melodic ends up getting the kill on Yama, but very threatened. Can't really recover. Yeah, it's going to be so low after the next layer of spikes. Really, almost dead. Hclat cannot find a moment to breathe. Cannot find a second to spin away these spikes. This Bliss will be able to heal against Starmie, though. It'll at least function as a special wall a couple more times, perhaps. Good Claydol into the Swampert. Just loses the Claydol. This is looking terrible. Forced into Melodic. I mean, even Bliss coming in, taking the spikes and the surf is going to be so rough. Spikes. Thunderbolt. I mean, it's at 49. It can heal now. It's pretty forced to heal. If it does anything but heal, it's like absolutely dead. So, and this Swampert, it could have like Focus Punch or something, but not revealed much yet. I'm assuming like Ice Beam, perhaps Roar, or Protect. Another Wish Bliss. Hclat apparently a fan of this. Gonna successfully get Milo in with some Wish support in the back. Nice. Is Melodic gonna be able to... Nice surf on the Skarm. Maybe Skarm was expecting a Toxic there, but... Not going to happen. Recover on the Protect. Honestly, great play. Every little bit of health counts when these 3 spikes are up. And you have no spinner, so... That little heal there was crucial. Roar from Jester. Molt is a great outcome. This is kind of threatening, actually. Molt could be game-winning. It is threatening everything on Jester's team right now. Jester would rather sack his Skarmory than risk losing his Starmie by going in there on a fire move. It's sensible. Skarm's low anyway. 3 spikes already up. It's not doing much else. Hclat opting to sack his own Skarm into the Starmie probably allows a safe entry point for Blissey, yes. Who may have died after... Spikes, Surf, and Sand. Able to heal now. This is a tight one. I mean, this Moltres is definitely threatening. But Jester, I would say, definitely looks better. Hclat going for freezes at this point. Ah, he's just so... After switching out at that low health, he's pretty effed now. Probably. And gets Venusaur in on the recover turn. Is Venusaur going to be able to... Ah, man. That's kind of unlucky. Because this Moltres is a huge threat. If he slept Moltres, it was game over for Hclat. Ah, lives on 1 health and eliminates Starmie. Okay, Melodic might be able to win this game. Like, doesn't Melodic wall both these? That was a I didn't even consider the fact that, Moltres would ever stay in there, but kind of a nuts stay in the face of a threatened Surf, but Jester was expecting a go Melodic on the Surf. Went with a Thunderbolt. I think I do question maybe Jester should have just clicked Surf. You can just spam Thunderbolt against Melodic and you surely are favored. But I guess what kind of madman stays with Molt there also? Okay, gets frozen. So maybe won't... Oh, but Tar's burned. And it's Pursuit Tar too. Even if it's got Brick Break, it's not gonna probably not gonna beat Blissey 1v1, but Blissey is very low. I mean, it maybe could... With a Brick Break through burn, it might still die. Or Melodic could thaw here and recover. Nope. These have been some really crazy games. Alright. Goes for Thunderwave, though. Okay. Yeah, I guess with Thunderwave he would like Brick Break. That makes sense. Last would probably be Pursuit. And T-Wave is his best chance of hacking his way to victory. Hclat says in the chat, think you played a lot better TBH. I think there was a bit of gaming on both sides there. That was kind of nuts. A lot of call-outs, a lot of... That whole interaction with the Molt and the Venusaur earlier was kind of cool. I won't lie. Well played to both of them. Hclat gonna maintain his undefeated record so far in CI6. I kind of flabbergasted at that Moltres living the Thunderbolt and killing Starmie. I didn't think... Like, I didn't expect him to stay. I didn't expect him to live. I didn't expect a lot of things. But here we are. Absolutely scraped by in the last game, too. It looked so over at the end there, and then managed to find a couple timely explosions, and all of a sudden clawed his way to victory. Hclat kind of... With some crazy playing to outs moments. Yeah, alright. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for future sets. Subscribe to CALLOUS, like the video, leave a comment down below. Thank you very much for watching. And I'll see you next time.